Now we're on to the left front now, and I have cast on 31 stitches, and I've knit in 1 by 1 twisted rib for 10 rows, and then I've changed to, that was on 3.25mm needles, and now using the 4mm needles. Don't know whether you can see that, it never shows up on this video, the size. And I have knit 6 rows, which is how you start the Blackberry pattern off. And I'm now going to do the pattern on here, tell you how many stitches I start with. So I'm going to start with knit 1, then I'm going to drop the next stitch down, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's sticking the wool there. You get little hairs of the wool, seems to stick together sometimes here. And then I put the right hand needle underneath all those 5 stitches, and I'm going to knit them all together. And then knit 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to drop the next stitch down again. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And knit all those stitches together. And then knit 3. And then do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. The hairs are sticking together again on the wool. That happens sometimes with the stitches, they seem to stick together. And then 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to carry on across that row now. Now I'm at the end of the row, and I'm going to drop the next stitch down. It's rather awkward when you only have 1 stitch left on the needle. I'm going to knit all those stitches together and then knit that last stitch. Now I'm going to knit 5 rows in stocking stitch. So that'll be 1 row purl, 1 row knit, 1 row purl, 1 row knit, and 1 more row purl, and then I will be back to show the second part of the bubble. Now I'm on to the next row of the Blackberry bubble, and for that row I'm going to knit 3 stitches first. 1, 2, 3. And as I've shown you before, the next stitch is where I'm going to drop, and you can follow it down to the next bubble below, and you can see that 1 stitch is in the center of the bubble. So that's how you work out where you put the next stitch. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick that stitch up. Underneath the other 4 stitches are being dropped down, and knit them all together. And then 1, 2, 3. Drop the next stitch down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick that stitch up underneath the other 4 dropped stitches. Knit them all together. 1, 2, 3. And then repeat that all the way across the row. And I've dropped the 5 below there. Now I'm knitting the last 3 stitches on that row. And then we'll be knitting another 5 rows, and then starting the pattern how I did the first row, where you start with knit 1, drop 5 below. And this is how far we have got, with the back, use 325mm needles and you cast it on 63 stitches and you're knitting 1 by 1 rib for 10 rows. Change to 4mm needles and then knit 6 rows in stocking stitch, and then you commence the pattern, which was row 1 was knit 3 and knit 5 below. Repeat the stitches in brackets to the last, would be your last 3 stitches, and then knit those stitches. And then rows 2 to 6 knitting stocking stitch. Row 7 knit 1, knit 5 below and knit 3, and repeat those stitches in brackets, and then knit would be your last 1 stitch at the end. There's rows 8 to 12 knitting stocking stitch. Repeat the 12 pattern rows until work measures 8.5 inches, which for me was 76 rows, and you end on a wrong side row. For the armholes, cast off 3 stitches, beginning of the next 2 rows, then you knit 2 rows. The next row, knit 1, slip 1, pass slip stitch over and pattern to last 3 stitches, knit 2 together, knit 1, purl your next row, decrease each end of the next 4th, and every following alternate row until you have 21 stitches remaining, and place these stitches onto a stitch holder. Now for the left front, use 325mm needles and you cast on 31 stitches and you rib 1 by 1 for 10 rows. Change to 4mm needles, and then you knit 6 rows in stocking stitch. The first pattern row is knit 1, knit 5 below, and then knit 3, and repeat the stitches in brackets and knit to the end, which would be, you'd have knit 1 left. Rows 2 to 6 you're knitting in stocking stitch. And row 7 is knit 3, knit the 5 below, knit 3, repeat the stitches in brackets and knit to the end, which would be your last 3 stitches. And 8 to 12 knitting stocking stitch, continue and pattern until work measures the same as the back to the armhole, which is what I'm going to do now, which you're going to knit until it measures 8.5 inches, which is what you did in the back. And you would end on a wrong side row. We have now reached 8.5 inches, so we're going to cast off the stitches for the armholes. And it's 3 stitches. Check on the thingy here. It's 3. Going to cast off 3 stitches. One, 2, 3, knit to the end of that row, we're going to purl the next row, and now we're going to knit the next part of the pattern row. The decreasing's done on the 4th row. Well, it's the 5th row actually, but there's 4 rows in between. So we have to find where you're going to put the bud. So we're looking on the, that's 3 stitches. And that's the centre stitch there. Take that up to the needle, so you need to knit another stitch and then drop that stitch down 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, pick up the 5th one and knit all together, then 1, 2, 3, drop the next one down, 1, 2, 3, 4, pick all stitches up together and repeat that across the row. Now we have to do a purl row. So we've cast off the 3 stitches there, knitted another 3 rows, and this row is going to be the decrease, and so it's knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, pass that slip stitch over and knit across the row. So that was the first decreasing row. Now we're going to knit another 3 rows and do the decrease again. So that's the 3 rows worked, and now we're going to decrease on this row again. At knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, and on every row here now you have to work out where you're going to put the dropped stitch. And the drop stitch, that is the center, 3 center stitches there, and you just follow that center stitch up to the needle. It's the first needle there, so we're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's dropped the 4 down below on the first stitch after the decrease. Then it's 1, 2, 3, and follow on across the row. And now we are decreasing on every other row now, on every alternate row. So it's knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, pass that slip stitch over, knit to the end of the row. And we're going to do that until we have 16 stitches. We're going to knit every alternate row now until we have 16 stitches left. Now we have 16 stitches left, and we're finished on the right side row. So now we're going to cast off 5 stitches for the, I think it's 5, isn't it? Yes, cast off 5. We cast off 5 stitches for the neck. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 stitches. Carry on to the end of the row. We're going to decrease at the armhole edge and at the neck edge as well. We're going to decrease on the neck edge on the next 5 rows. This is also a pattern row. We drop the pattern down. So we're going to knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, then we have to knit 1, drop the next stitch down 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and stuck again, and pick up the 5th stitch and the 4 dropped stitches and knit them all together. And I'm going to knit 1, 2, 3, drop that stitch down again, 1, 2, 3, 4, pick up all 5 stitches and then knit 2 stitches together. next row we're going to purl 2 stitches together at the neck edge. So that's 2 stitches with one stitch we've cast off there, we've decreased. Two. That's 3. It's 4. Now we have 2 stitches left. Now we have 2 stitches left, so we're going to knit those 2 stitches together. We're going to cut off some, leave a length of yarn for sewing up. And tie off that. So this is the finished piece, and my instructions for casting off, the casting off 5 stitches here, and I said to cast off to knit 5 together at the neck edge, but I'm sorry, it was only 4. I made a mistake there, but it's written down properly in the instructions. I'll show you that in a minute. But here, piece I did before. So that's showing you the pieces of the cardigan there. Now I just have to do the sleeves, but I will knit one sleeve myself first, and then I will do the tutorial for the second sleeve showing you how to do the sleeve. And then there's just putting the bands on. This is going to have a collar, so that the bands have to be done first and then the collar added after that. But it's the right page now. The left front, use 325mm needles, and I cast on 31 stitches, and I did 1x1 twisted rib for 10 rows. And then changed to 4mm and knit 6 rows of stocking stitch. And then the first row of the pattern was knit 1, knit 5 below, repeat the stitches in brackets until would be the last 1 stitch, and then you knit that 1 stitch. I just put knit to end on there. And then rows 2 to 6 are knitting stocking stitch, and then row 7, knit 3, knit the 5 below, repeating brackets, and knit the your last 3 stitches, knit to end. When I say knit to end, it's what you started with, knit 3. Row 8 to 12, the stocking stitch again, and then you continue until it measures the same as the back to the armholes, which is 8.5 inches, ending on a wrong side row. And then for the armholes, you cast off 3 stitches beginning of next row, and then pattern 3 more rows, and then your next row is a decreasing row. Knit 1, slip 1, pass slit stitch over, pattern to the end of the row, and knit 3 more rows and decrease on every alternate row after that until 16 stitches remain, ending on a right side row. Then you cast off 5 stitches at neck edge and decrease 1 stitch at neck edge on the next 4 rows. In the tutorial I said 5 rows, but it should have been 4 rows. I got mixed up with this one here, the size I'd already done. And decreasing as before at armhole edge until 2 stitches remain, then you purl 2 together. And that's to the right front. After that is the same as the left front, but reversing all the shaping. And then after that I will show you how to do the sleeves. So give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you all later. So bye for now.